Today I'm going to be reviewing the MSI EV Premium 60 amp hardwired EV charger. This is my quick charge review. It's basically a 10-minute version of my full comprehensive review that I posted here on State of Charge about a week and a half ago. With the quick charge reviews, I take my full review, compress them down to 10 minutes. For those of you that don't want to watch my full 45-minute to an hour, sometimes long, detailed EV charger reviews. But you get all the information in 10 minutes or less with my quick charge reviews. With that said, let's get with it. All right, I've got everything on the table. We've got the unit here. I like the design of this unit. It's very stylish, and it's a heavy unit. This feels like the outer casing is very well made. You notice on the side here, it's a side connector holster. That's kind of unusual. We've got an emergency stop button on the side here, which is good. Not too many chargers have that. It's a good added feature. There's a display screen on the front here. We've got the cable here. It's a very thick cable. The cable measured 23.3 millimeters thick. This is actually the thickest cable I've ever had here in the State of Charge garage. And that's a negative because the thicker the cable, the heavier they are, the harder they are to maneuver and use. And they typically don't perform well in the cold weather testing, which we're going to get into a little bit later. I ordered this one with the J1772 connector. It is also available with a NAX connector, but for this testing, I got the J1772. Feels like a good connector. Metal locking pin here. Feels like a nice quality connector. We've got two RFID cards for remote access. We've got the warranty card. We've got the quick user manual here. We've got a template, a wall template to mount the mounting brackets, which there's two mounting brackets, an upper and a lower. You got to mount two brackets. We've got two sets of screws here. This one are the screws for the mounting bracket. These little packet here is the screws for this front cover, because this needs to be removed to install it to the wall brackets, and then you reapply it with these screws here, and then they give you these 4 mounting screws with concrete anchors if you're mounting it into concrete, and washers. Next up, let's take a look at the MSI EV Premium's key features. The 60 amp hardwired version that we'll be reviewing here today costs $649.99. There is also a 40 amp plug-in unit that comes with a NEMA 1450 plug. That costs $50 more, $699.99. But I will point out, when I began this review, these units were on sale, and you could get the 60 amp hardwired unit for $489.99. And the 40 amp plug-in unit was $499.99. But currently, that discounted price is no longer available. The dimensions are 14 inches by 9 inches by 5 inches. This is a 60 amp unit that can deliver 14 kilowatt to your electric vehicle. It has adjustable power output from 6 amps up to 60 amps. That's done in the app. It has a 24.6 foot cable. It's available with either the J1772 connector or the NAX connector. It has a 7-inch bright display screen. It has RFID access, and 2 cards come with the unit. It has an IP55 enclosure rating, which is very good. That's equivalent to a NEMA 4X rating. The operating temperature is -40 degrees Fahrenheit to 131 degrees Fahrenheit. It is a Wi-Fi connected smart charger that comes with an app. It is also OCPP compliant, and you can direct the unit to third-party apps. You don't have to use the MSI app. It is Energy Star rated. It comes with a long 5-year warranty, and it's made in Taiwan. Installation of the MSI EV Premium is relatively straightforward, although I have to admit, a little more complicated than some of the other EV chargers that I install, basically because you actually have to open up the unit in order to mount it to the wall. All right, once you have the unit mounted on the wall, it's just a matter of attaching 3 wires inside, but I urge you to get a licensed, qualified electrician to do so. Now, the interesting thing is on the MSI unit, it doesn't have a rear entry. The MSI does not allow for rear entry, so you have to pipe your wiring, and it's going to come up through the bottom here, and then you connect the 2 hot wires here, and then the ground goes on this screw here, and that's it. Then you just close up the front, install those 6 screws, and you're good to go. If this was one of the MSI plug-in units with a NEMA 1450, you wouldn't have to do any of this. You just plug it into a NEMA 1450 outlet, but then you're limited to delivering 40 amps or 9.6 kilowatt to your EV. This 60 amp unit can deliver a lot more power. I then put the unit through the cold weather testing. For that, I freeze it for 24 hours at -12 degrees Fahrenheit and test how easy the cable is to work with when it's frozen. I also dropped the frozen connector on a concrete floor 5 times from about waist high in the connector drop test. Unfortunately, the cable was very stiff and the connector broke on the second drop, so it failed both of my cold weather tests. However, on the positive side, the charger did pass the 120-degree extreme heat test and the automatic restart test. MSI does have its own app, which I paired my unit to, but you don't have to. They do have true OCPP compliance, and you can actually pair the unit to third-party applications if you'd like. Once you do pair the MSI app, though, you're allowed to do things like set your electricity rate so you know exactly how much it's costing to charge your vehicle. You get individual records of each charging session. You can also use your RFID card, which has to be authenticated in the app. You need to pair it with the unit. You get 2 of those RFID cards, and you can also lower the output amperage. State of Charge is powered by Qmerit, North America's premier installer of electric vehicle charging equipment. After I've helped you decide which charger to buy, follow the link in the description of my videos and have Qmerit install it. And if you do follow that link, Qmerit will waive the $150 installation deposit. But this is an exclusive offer for State of Charge followers. So in order to get that offer, you must follow the link in the description of my videos. Good first attempt for MSI. Room for improvement, and hopefully they do make some improvements. If they do, it'll be a nice solid unit. With that said, the only thing we have left over now is the ratings. So let's go to the charger rater. For the MSI EV Premium 60 amp charger, we'll start off with the cost and value category. It gets 19 points. For power and construction, 22 points. In the testing category, it finishes up with 19 points. For intelligence, 23 points. And that gives the MSI EV Premium 60 amp a grand total of 83 points. And when you convert that to a 5-star rating, the MSI EV Premium gets 4.15 stars out of 5. Not the best score, certainly not the worst score. But again, that is for the 60 amp hardwired MSI EV Premium. MSI also sells a plug-in version of this same unit that can deliver up to 40 amps. So let's take a look at what the charger rater would look like for that unit. For cost, it's going to lose 2 points because the plug-in 40 amp unit actually cost $50 more than the 60 amp hardwired unit, I guess because you're paying for the plug. So it loses 2 points there. For warranty, it's got the same great 5-year warranty, 5 points. For value, I'm going to give it the same below average score as I did for the 60 amp version. It loses a point there. Finishes up the cost and value category with 17 points. For power and construction, it loses 1 point for being able to deliver a maximum of 40 amps. It gets 1 point for adjustable power because you can adjust the power through the app. Cable length, 2 points. Connector, same connector, 1 point. Connector holster, 2. Temperature sensor and plug. It does not have a temperature sensor in the NEMA 1450 plug, so it loses 3 points there and finishes up the power and construction category with 17 points. For testing, finishes up the testing category with 19 points. And for intelligence, again, it's going to be the same as the 60 amp version. 23 points in the intelligence category for a total of 76 points. And when I convert that to a 5-star rating, the MSI EV Premium 40 amp plug-in unit gets 3.8 stars out of 5. Not a great score, one of the lower scores that we've ever given for a 40 amp plug-in unit. All right, well, that's pretty much it for the review. The only thing left is to talk about my hits and misses for the MSI EV Premium. We'll start off with the hits. The enclosure itself seems to be constructed extremely well, and it has a great weatherproof IP rating. It has a bright 7-inch LED display screen, and it has a 5-year warranty. That tells us that the manufacturer is confident that this unit is built well and will last long. And for the misses, I have to start off with the connector breaking on only my second drop. It's a good thing this has a 5-year warranty. Also, it has no advanced smart charging features like intelligent load management and power sharing capabilities. And finally, the thick, heavy cable becomes a little cumbersome to use. Quite honestly, I really wouldn't want to be dragging this back and forth every day as I charge and unplug my EV. All right, and that's all I have here today for the MSI EV Premium 60 amp electric vehicle charger. If you're interested in purchasing it, I will drop a link in the description of this video to click through and buy it. And if this is your first time here at State of Charge, please don't forget, click that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming electric vehicle news and reviews. And as always, thanks for watching.